A whole swarm of drones will be flying out from under Christmas trees this year, but few owners know that flying them near buildings is illegal. The Civil Aviation Authority actively searches YouTube for incriminating videos, and guilty pilots have been prosecuted. In this week's Tech Talk, we set out to learn more about drone safety and what the future has in store for these flying quadcopters.
Today we're going to speak with Simon Dale, who is the chairman of First Person View UK. He's going to demonstrate one of the most popular drones to us, and then we're going to have a chat about drone laws, legislation and how they might change in the future.
Mr. Dale is on a mission to educate drone buyers on where they can and can't fly, such as within 150 metres of roads or buildings. He also wants to see the CAA change its attitude to small drones and address a loophole where removing the camera means many rules no longer apply.
It's the Civil Aviation Authority who wrote the rules. Up until quite recently, they would only act on reports, but recently they've adopted a more proactive approach, not necessarily for prosecution, but they'll actually go onto a YouTube video that is clearly breaking the rules, and they'll say, they've got a little CAA logo, and they'll say, this video appears to be breaking the rules, you should be aware. More education about at the point of sale is what we're trying to instigate, which is that there are rules that obviously don't fly near airports, don't fly over the top of people who crowds of people, for instance, because that could end in tears. And just use common sense, really. It's all common sense stuff. The CAA seem to be open to that at the moment. We've been speaking to them recently, and the very small ones, they seem to be saying if it's under a certain weight, the rules and regulations will sort of go away. Once they get a bit bigger, I think it's right and proper that they should have restrictions. The big difference happens as soon as you take what they call valuable consideration. A different set of rules come in. You need a permission for aerial work, PFAW, from the CAA, and to get that you have to do a course from one of two training providers, and you're looking at about £1,500, and quite a complicated process. You have a flight test, you have to learn about meteorology and air law.
But once the rules are understood and regulations tweaked, the drone industry has the potential to be massive. Farmers are already using drones to analyse soil, and it is thought agriculture will benefit the most from commercial drone use. The Association for Unmanned Vehicle Systems International believes the US economy could be boosted by $10 billion per year if commercial drones were used more widely. Meanwhile, developers can now create apps to get the most out of the Phantom drone range.
But some of the stuff is amazing. The SDK for the DJI Phantom came out 3 weeks ago, and the first app that came out is an app where I could fly around a building and it will take pictures as it goes, and then you push a button and it makes a 3D model on screen, and you can do all sorts of things. You can put your mouse on there and measure, how big is that dimension, how big is that dimension. You want new windows fitting, you can measure how big all the windows are and send them off. Quite incredible, and that's the first app to come out of this new SDK, so there's lots of stuff coming, and I think the CAA are open to that, and they're looking to relax and tweak the rules, which is good to see.
But being so easy to fly presents the worrying prospect of drones being used by terrorists to target sensitive buildings, public events, or even individuals.
The trick with that, it's always a hard one, because you could say that about a lot of things. Cars, you could drive a car filled with much more explosive material to somewhere important and park it and walk away. With a drone, you're very limited. You'd have to have a really big drone, really big, to carry anything like what you were talking about there. The Phantoms, the more popular ones, could carry a thimble of something, or a mug of something perhaps. But at the end of the day, you could outlaw drones completely. You could stop all the safe operators operating. But a terrorist is still not going to listen to the rules. You'd be harming a really good and interesting industry to safeguard against something that people would do anyway, terrorists would do anyway.
Better education is key to keep drone flying safe, and so a 3-step plan of action is being drawn up to inform of the risks involved and even have drones automatically land if they're flown too close to an airport.
What we're doing with the industry, so we've worked with the biggest UK distributor and the manufacturer on sort of a 3-step approach. One is we're putting a CAA guide sheet, a very easy to understand sort of pictogram sort of leaflet in every box. The other thing is we've worked with the manufacturer to put a default limit in the software, so that by default on Christmas morning the aircraft won't go above 400 feet. The third thing is the Phantoms have a built-in database, So you literally can't fly near an airport. If you're within 5 miles of an airport, restrictions come in, and if you're within 1.5 miles, it literally won't take off, or if you fly into it, it will land.
Amazon created headlines when it announced it would be delivering goods using drones, and there are plans elsewhere to fly drones with medical equipment to road accidents. But neither of these are currently legal in the UK because the drones would have to fly beyond the pilot's line of sight.
Under current rules, neither of those things could work. As far as I'm aware, you'd have to have somebody watching it and sort of being able to possibly take control, which doesn't make sense for the Amazon model. But perhaps rules will change in the fullness of time. I think the aircraft would have to have some kind of collision avoidance system of their own. And there are things in the pipeline along there. I'm a beta tester for a product that would detect something and stop if there was a problem. But yeah, at the moment, it's not really feasible.
With drones of all shapes, sizes and prices now on sale, the sky really is the limit. But as their complexity grows, so too must the laws and guidelines intended to keep them out of danger.